Hi there. It's been a while. Okay, I'm not gonna get into how I'm back or anything like that. Let's just focus on ponies or humans for now, and maybe I'll address that can of worms later. Well, it's a cesspool actually, but that's besides the point. Oh, also, you like these new OC poses? Well, with the exception of these rare intro bits, I'm not going to be using them. These delectable images were drawn up years ago, and now I'd rather keep it simple. Special occasions, though, also call for special topics. This particular topic is something I've had in the woodworks for quite some time. So, Sunset Shimmer. Love? Even EqG1? Yes, I do love Sunset Shimmer, EqG1 included, and so should you. Kidding. Somewhat. The main reason I love Sunset Shimmer from EqG1 and just in general is her past. Who saw that coming? I know that we didn't get much in terms of concrete details, but what we did get was juicy enough for me. In EqG1, Celestia says that when she didn't get what she wanted as fast as she liked, she turned cruel and dishonest. Then we saw a Sunset Shimmer who was full of herself, streaking bravado in a leather jacket. From these things I deduced that this was a character whose ego Celestia failed to rein in. That right there whet my appetite for this character, as I really love fall from grace stories, particularly those where the character's fall is understandable and in many ways a product of the people they were around. My fascination with these types of stories can be chalked up to three individual facets, which I suppose reveal something about my personality. Number one, these fall from grace stories, such as Sunsets, explain how things don't end perfectly, and how the world doesn't measure up to our idealism. I guess I've become a little jaded as my idealism on some things has been stomped on. I've become curious. Why, but more importantly, how do things turn out so bad? After all, the first step to arriving at that idealistic future is to study the failure, so we can prevent it. The fall from grace story I interpreted with Sunset Shimmer was a welcome change of pace for My Little Pony. Of course, on some level, I love the idealism that's in the show and how a shut-in like Twilight Sparkle can become so successful, but at the same time, I sometimes get sick of it. I'm a lot like Twilight. Same for a lot of other people. We don't have the happy-go-lucky story that she has. We're not the princess of friendship. It's like crap. Shit. Why is she so lucky? I want to be the fucking magical pony princess in Equestria, damn it. You didn't hear that come out of my mouth. Let's just get to the next point before this becomes more awkward. A second reason I love fall from grace stories, such as Sunsets, is that they hint at how, on some level, no one is inherently bad. They just went down the wrong path. I find that charmingly sweet and humanizing. Whether or not I do it at times, I'm not someone who likes to assume the worst in people. I like to assume people aren't going to be assholes, even though that's not always true. A lot of times they are. That actually leads me into my next point. Fall from grace stories remind me that I can be an asshole. That I can and at times have come across as a jerk. It checks self before wrecks self that I should be just as critical of myself, if not more so, when compared to how critical I am of others. Don't expect something of others that you can't expect from yourself. I'm sure that there'll be people in the comments that'll say I failed to live up to this mantra in some way. And to a degree, I'm sure that's true. Please, if you ever have that thought, tell me, let me know. Honesty is an important virtue. With all that said, believe it or not, there's one other conclusion I came to from EqG1 regarding Fall from Grace stories and Sunset Shimmer's past. In EqG1, there was a very tiny detail that some may have missed when Sunset Shimmer turned into a raging she-demon. She was crying. She was clenching her teeth. She does not like where this is going. These visuals aren't there only by coincidence either. The animators intentionally made it like this, suggesting this isn't just some speculation from a deluded Sunset fan. Far more people than just myself saw this detail. It has to have some significance. From these details, I deduced that on some level, some subconscious level, Sunset Shimmer knew that what she was doing was wrong. She was full of pain and sadness. She was no longer Celestia's student, a position that she probably had a lot of pride in. She bandaged it up, tucked it so deep that even she forgot it was there. Many viewers, to no fault of their own, didn't see it either. Some folks were even calling bullshit on her crying bit at the end of the movie. Who can blame them? Sunset Shimmer did do a masterful job of hiding it, at least in my opinion. What I love so much about this is twofold. It shows that there's some self-awareness in her, which, in my opinion, lessens the blow of her earlier actions. I have far more respect for people who know something is wrong than those who don't. That's why I'm not a big fan of children. Also, I love this self-awareness because it contrasts so heavily with my own. I have a little bit too much self-awareness for my own sanity, or at least many friends and family seem to think so. I'm constantly searching to find myself and find the next answer to some fucking personal question. Am I good? Am I good? No amount of praise can dull that feeling sometimes. It's for this reason I find it so refreshing to find someone who's the opposite, who doesn't have that. It's different. It's uncommon. I want to understand it more. There seems to be an endless supply of information for me to discover. I can learn what it's like on the opposite side, and I yearn for some of the things they have. This is a perfect segue for the next thing about Sunset Shimmer that I love. She's confident, especially in EqG1. I mean, I know because I just talked about it that this confidence is kinda a farce, but it's not a farce in the degree to which it affects her psyche. It gives her power, emotional stability to be able to think, to be able to plan, to make stuff happen. I love that so much. I love when I'm like that. I love when I see other people like that. It's infectious. It gives more people, myself included, those same positive vibes to think. Confidence breeds more confidence. Fear breeds more fear. I want to be with someone like Sunset Shimmer. I want to be proactive. She's my waifu, man. And no waifu would be complete without the third reason I love Sunset Shimmer. Her aesthetic. Her design. It's no secret I love me them warm colors. They just resonate so much with the more passionate emotions. Sunset's EqG1 design doesn't just convey passionate fury, it also conveys the same thing I just talked about. Confidence. Ooh, the leather jacket just oozes confidence, man. It's why with all the changes to Sunset's design, they have never gotten rid of that leather jacket. It's an integral part of who she is. She's confident. This ties into the fourth reason I love her. Her voice. Ooh, yeah. Rebecca Choichette does a phenomenal job. Ooh, it's just so deep and adds to that innate feeling that this character is confident. Generally, I associate a deeper voice with a stronger, less flighty person. We can see this in all sorts of media, especially fantasy, where dwarves have deeper voices and elves have higher voices. It's a trend that's not always followed, but man, oh man, do I love it when it is followed. With that said, there's one more reason why, in general, I love Sunset Shimmer's character, which includes EqG1, the mystery of her character. Now, I'm somewhat cheating here, as I did allude to how her confidence makes me want to explore her ad nauseum. However, in general, I tend to love characters a lot more when many mysteries are brought up, but not particularly solved. I really enjoy the act of digging deep into a character's background and coming to my own conclusions. That's a big part of why I go by past analysis. And Sunset Shimmer has always had this past left open to us. Beyond the couple conclusions I was able to draw, there's very little that the first film and later content give towards her past. All that does is make me gnaw at all the unanswered questions that I can dig into. I'm basically like Twilight when she sees a huge new library. So much more to know and pontificate on. Well, there we are. Those are the reasons why I love Sunset Shimmer through all of her incarnations. Of course, there are other reasons why I really like her, such as her competence or how she's a great foil to Twilight, but this video is only about the reasons why I love her. I mean, we'd be here all day if I listed every reason I even like her. And as is, it was pretty hard to condense my reasons down to the core for this video. Spoiler alert, I've had a similar script in the works since BronyCon 2014 when I bought a ton of Sunset Shimmer merch for the first time. It's been really hard to get this down to the most essential points. Thank you all for watching and... Okay, I can't end it like this. You all deserve to know. All of you out there who have been competing for Sunset's love, well, I have one thing that you need to know. As we speak, I've been in the process of courting this fine lady for quite some time. You see, my name isn't just past analysis. There's a different name I go by. In the human world, I go by the name Brad. And ever since Legends of Everfree, Sunset and I have been getting ever so close. Ha! Eat my dust!